Texas Senator Ted Cruz says he is confident, but he is not taking anything for granted. Right now, we are waiting for Mr. Cruz to come out here and talk to about 500 people who have gathered here tonight. This is his third campaign rally today, and he's not slowing down yet. Tomorrow, he will have visited all 99 counties in the Hawkeye State. We spoke with Senator Cruz on his campaign bus, and he says the first 4 states, including Iowa, are not must-wins.
We are all in Iowa, we're all in New Hampshire, we're all in South Carolina, and we're all in Nevada.
My question is, how concerned are you that you won't be able to consolidate conservatives behind you?
Listen, I am tremendously encouraged with what we're seeing on the ground. Nationwide, we've got over 200,000 volunteers. Just in the state of Iowa, we've got over 12,000 volunteers. Every day, we're making over 20,000 phone calls a day. Every day, we're knocking on over 2,000 doors a day. You know, we've got over 800 Texans who've come up to Iowa, who are trudging through the ice and snow. Texans don't do well in ice and snow, but they're knocking on doors.
And tomorrow, Cruz is going to be holding rallies in Jefferson and Marion, Iowa, and then he's going to be right back here tomorrow night where he's going to be holding his election night party. Dan?
Yeah, Marco Rubio, Donald Trump, as you know by now, here today. Our political reporter Jack Fink, the only one who interviewed both of these guys. And not only did things heat up last night, this continued through the day today.
Oh, it sure did, Doug and Kaylee. This was a different Marco Rubio today, who went after Donald Trump like never before. But the Donald made news himself by surprising just about everyone with an endorsement by New Jersey Governor and former presidential candidate Chris Christie.
Friends, do not let friends vote for con artists.
Marco Rubio made his latest attack against Donald Trump sound like a public service announcement. It's part of a new strategy he began in Dallas to try to knock down the New York billionaire before he says time runs out.
You now have a con artist that's winning primaries and needs to be unmasked. Conservatives need to know who's about to take over the conservative movement before they cast their vote on Super Tuesday.
It's Rubio!
In Fort Worth, Trump mocked a moment during Rubio's response to the president's State of the Union address. The real estate mogul dismissed the Florida senator's new attacks. Had to ask you about Marco Rubio. He's really gone after you last night and again today in Dallas, repeatedly calling you a con artist. How do you respond?
Well, I call him a lightweight. You know, he's not equipped to be president. He doesn't have the temperament.
Both Trump and Rubio claim they're the only Republicans who can beat former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton.
I'm the one that beats her. And if you look at the recent polls, you look at the Q poll, the Quinnipiac poll that just came out, if you look at the USA Today poll, I'm beating Hillary. And I haven't even started yet on Hillary.
In the Quinnipiac poll, Clinton tops Trump by 1%, and he trails her on average this week by 2. Rubio leads Clinton on average this week by 6.
The Democrats attack me more than any other Republican in this race, and there's a reason for it, because they know that if I'm our nominee, they're going to have a tough time winning.
Rubio's and Trump's visits here come just 4 days before Super Tuesday, and most polls show Texas Senator Ted Cruz is favored to win on his home turf, the largest of about a dozen states where voters go to the polls. To slow down Donald Trump, you first have to go through Ted Cruz. So how confident are you that you're going to do well here in Texas on Super Tuesday and in the other states?
Well, look, this is Ted's home state. I would expect he's going to win here.
I would love to win Texas. I think we have a really good shot. And actually, the most recent polls were even.
More candidates are on their way to Texas. Ben Carson will speak at the DFW Westin Hotel tomorrow, while Bernie Sanders rallies in Grand Prairie. Ted Cruz is planning an event in Dallas on Monday. Yeah, Dan, the crowd was going wild. They were cheering, they were doing the wave, and that was all before the Vermont senator even made his grand entrance. More than 7,000 people treated Bernie Sanders like a rock star.
This is a large, loud, and raucous crowd.
Here in conservative Texas, this large crowd waited hours inside on a sunny Saturday to see the Vermont senator, a socialist.
It looks like Dallas is ready for a political revolution.
Sanders repeated his call for raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour, Medicare for all, and 4-year tuition at public colleges and universities free of charge.
I've never really paid much attention to politics, never been very excited, just kind of, whatever. And then he started talking about things that mattered to me about college education. I don't know how I'm going to send my kids to college.
Sanders told me he'll pay for it by raising taxes on Wall Street. But is there enough revenue in these tax increases to pay for everything that you are suggesting?
Well, in fact, of course.
How so?
Because if you have a tax on Wall Street speculation, you bring in far more than the $70 billion that we believe it will cost to provide free tuition at public colleges and universities.
Whoa! Despite the enthusiasm here, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is an average of 26 points ahead of Sanders in the polls in Texas.
We think we are going to do much, much better than that. In fact, we think we have a shot to win.
Why?
Well, you just saw it. You just saw 7,000 enthusiastic people.
Enthusiastic for Sanders, but not for Mrs. Clinton. Every time he mentioned her name, the crowd booed loudly. Former President Bill Clinton will return to North Texas Monday. He'll campaign for his wife in Fort Worth. And this is where Ted Cruz is going to be holding his rally later tonight. North Texans say they traveled here because they believe in Cruz. He is behind Donald Trump in the polls, and volunteers want to change that.
We're Texans, but we're up here to talk to South Carolinians.
Volunteers for Ted Cruz gathered to figure out where they'll be knocking on doors today. Among them, Ron Boyd from Allen.
Gentlemen, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
You guys going to be voting for Ted Cruz?
I need a sign.
You need a sign?
While one man supports Cruz, his neighbor says he's debating between Cruz and Florida Senator Marco Rubio.
What you're actually doing by voting for Rubio, you're helping Donald Trump.
Just remember, this is a wonderful problem to have.
There are 15,000 Cruz volunteers from South Carolina alone, making calls and block walking. Another 600 from 38 states, including 105 from Texas. People like Steve Smith of Flower Mound.
Just being there, I think in person, eye to eye with people is having an impact.
You believe this is a state Senator Cruz should win outright?
He really should.
Why?
Because these are his people.
Linda Abrams is a political science professor at Bob Jones University. She says Donald Trump is attracting a third of evangelicals who believe his ability to turn the country around is the biggest priority.
And evangelicals believe that the Bible is very clear that the government is to protect. That's its central focus, justice for the inhabitants of the country and protection from those who would hurt the country.
As for Ron Boyd of Allen, he hopes his message will seal the deal for Cruz.
As my U.S. Senator, I feel like I have a voice in Congress for the very first time.
And Professor Abrams says Cruz needs to come in first or second tomorrow, though Cruz says he's in it for the long haul. Coming up at 6 o'clock, why Texas volunteers say they are surprised. To Texas Senator Ted Cruz, this is personal. He is still angry about Donald Trump's past attacks on his family.
That you can unite this party like no other man, and we need to do it now. We cannot do it in November.
And I will have to confess, what you said would be easy to do.
Texas Senator Ted Cruz didn't back down when some of his supporters criticized his decision not to endorse Donald Trump last night. For the first time, Cruz explained why he wouldn't.
The day that was abrogated was the day this became personal, and as I said at the time, and I'm not going to get into criticizing or attacking Donald Trump, but I'll just give you this response. I am not in the habit of supporting people who attack my wife and attack my father.
Ted Cruz, this has nothing.
Emotions boiled over into the hallways.
What he's doing is creating that division just because he's mad at Trump because of those personal attacks. So he would rather kill the party and divide our votes because of his personal anger.
You know who is the only man that can really unify this party? Donald Trump. You know how? He walks up and he says, I do need the grassroots votes. I want your vote. I want you to tell me how to get your vote.
And so that's going to be the big test for Donald Trump here tonight. Will he win over more grassroots conservatives? So how will they measure if this convention is a success? That part of our story coming up at 6. Kaylee, as you said, right now, the state of Minnesota, now Mississippi is up on the roll call. And in a show of unity tonight, Hillary Clinton's campaign is having the state of Vermont push her over the top to become the nominee. And Bernie Sanders will announce it. But as we saw this morning, there's still plenty of raw emotion between Clinton and Sanders supporters.
Majority rules.
We're in the clear majority.
The shouting match erupted when Bernie Sanders delegate Russell Lytle of Denton County announced to hundreds of Texas Democrats he condemned presumptive nominee Hillary Clinton. Clinton supporters felt the burn in an unexpected way.
Hold on.
As for Lytle, he apologized and walked back his comment.
Democracy's not pretty. We know. And sometimes when you take a stand, you're going to upset some people. And word choice is not always perfect.
State Senator Royce West of Dallas, who supports Hillary Clinton, challenged Lytle.
You have nominee.
You have a right to have your opinion. I respect your right.
The official nominee of the party. We will support you.
Okay, and you will help us grow this party.
Senator West described the outburst as Texas politics at its best, and he insisted there will be party unity because people realize there's too much at stake this election.
He's just one person. I would, if you go in there and talk to other people in there that are Bernie Sanders delegates, they won't sit up and say they're condemning Hillary. In fact, most of them are saying we're going to be voting for the presumptive nominee.
Former gubernatorial candidate and state senator of Fort Worth, Wendy Davis, a Clinton backer, says she knows firsthand how disappointing it is to lose a race.
But now is a time for healing, and I think we all need to play our part in making sure that we accomplish that.
And right now you are looking at the Texas delegation, which hasn't gone through its roll call vote, but we know Texas has 147 delegates pledged to Hillary Clinton, 75 to Bernie Sanders, and once this roll call ends, Hillary Clinton will become the official nominee. Tonight, former President Bill Clinton is the headliner, and coming up at 6 o'clock, his goals, plus why some Texas Democrats say they don't mind all the drama at all. For now, we're live in Philadelphia. Jack Fink, CBS 11.